All right, welcome back to part 5 of receiving a massive gun collection. If you've been following along, you know we've already received all of these rifles. If you want to go back and see that, check out parts 2 and 3 for sure. Let's just do a quick little recap. A customer of mine came in, brought in his dad's collection. His dad passed away about 25 years ago. His dad was a lifetime gunsmith and avid shooter. This is a small portion of that collection, even though it's a lot to us. It's a small portion of what he had. We went through the rifles already. Last video, part 4, we did go through the handguns that were in the cases. And so today we're going to start going through the accessories and some of those long gun projects that are in those wooden boxes. So let's head over there now and we're going to start going through them. It'll be a little bit different video today because I think we're just going to go through that stuff together and I'm not just going to pull it out and then describe what it is. And let's see what we find. All right, so in part 4, we went over the handguns that were in these briefcases. And those two over there, that's that really cool Thompson Center contender pistol with the multiple caliber barrels. And then those briefcases over there are the ones that are filled with the air pistols. So we still have air rifles there. Those are probably some more of the just generic ones. These two here seem to be a little more on the high-end side, maybe for competition. Haven't given those too close of a look, but we'll do that. But today, I want to get through these wood crates here so that we can see what those projects are, and then also start getting into some of the tubs. And the tubs is probably where I'm going to need the most help identifying some of the items, because there's a lot of stuff in here so far that I haven't really recognized. So we'll go through that stuff together, and then you guys just let me know in the comments when you see something cool and call it out. So let's get into it. First thing I want to get through here is this muzzle loading project. Clearly he was right in the middle of finishing this out, but it is a heavy barrel with a big bore, so probably maybe around a 50 cal, but he has fitted it to the stock. And definitely in the finishing stages. All right, first box that we're going to go through has a 16 GAML, probably means 16 gauge muzzle loader. And let's open it and take a look. Okay, so we've got a stock, and then this is a double barrel muzzle loader. And just looking at the engraving, this certainly looks a lot older. And that's one of the hammers for it. But no visible manufacturer or model number. All right, this box doesn't have any markings on it. And it looks like just a stock and a couple of hammers. Alright, this box has a tag on it that says Worst ML Rifle. So, worst either means worst condition, worst type, or maybe it's one has a manufacturer named Worst. And it looks a little rough. There's definitely an old patch job on here. No visible markings, just regular hardware, except for there's LD here. Alright, this box doesn't have any visible markings. Looks like we got 3 different stocks. And then there's a receiver marked LC Smith. Okay, there's no tag on this box either. This looks like a single shot shotgun. And it looks like it is a Firearms company, Ithaca, New York. Alright, there's no tag on this case either. And this looks to be a start of a project. And the wood stock is starting to be formed for it. But there's no receiver, just the barrel. And no other components. And this is the last box. It does have a tag on it that says Knickerbocker 12. Okay, it looks like we have just another stock. And then here's the hammer and side plate, which says Remington, Ilion, New York, 1857 U.S. I have a feeling that one's pretty old. Alright, then just a quick update clarifying point. This is not a Knickerbocker 12. It is a Remington Maynard, which is a Civil War era musket. Okay, so that's going to do it for all the wood box projects. Let me know if there was anything cool in there that you liked. And now it's time to move on to this stuff. Let's start with those stocks, because I can tell what it is. Okay, clearly this is a tub full of wood rifle stocks, shotgun stocks, and looks like maybe, yep, some 4Ns that are in here. So, I don't know that anybody wants me to go through this entire box, but just know there's enough stuff in here to start or finish a project. It looks like this set here goes together. So when we present that, we'll show it all out on display. But for this video, it's a box of stocks. Alright, next up is this guy that had this box floating on top of it. It looks like got a Bushnell banner optic. With a Grapes of Wrath poster. Okay, well, if the Bushnell was any indication, this box has optics in it. And so, if you've been following along, it seems like the Tasco optics were a preferred choice for most of the rifles and projects. And this one is another Bushnell optic. It looks like we got ourselves a spotting scope. Alright. This looks like an old pencil scope, probably very specific for a certain rifle. I am not sure what this is, but it's got a really big prism on it. And it looks like there's another part here. And unfortunately, the glass looks a little cracked. I'm certain these go together. Can't wait for somebody in the comments to just yell and scream at me that they know exactly what it is and I'm a dummy for not knowing it. This, judging by the paperwork that's in the box, this is a spotting scope stand. This is Tascorama WRP Weather Rheostat Polarized. There's actually 4 in here. We have a Weaver, it's a Golden Hawk, got a Bushnell Sport View, and another Weaver. Got a Burris. Alright, so basically optic and optic mounts in the bag. Alright, this is pretty neat. This has a tag on it that says Saturn Telescopes, Berkeley, California. So, a little spotting scope with its own matching tripod. That's pretty cool. I was kind of hoping the Brown and Buckmark would have been in here, but it's not. Alright, next up we have a red toolbox that says Airgun Tools. Okay, and so clearly by air gun he means pellet gun, not like rotary air gun tools. So it looks like there's a bunch of stuff in here for repairing pellet guns. Alright, next up is this little metal storage cabinet. Looks like there's some triggers and parts and screws. Some more triggers, some bigger ones. This looks like some of the muzzle loading components, probably for some of those projects that need to get done. And same thing here. A couple of flashlights, a bolt, trigger guard. Alright, this next box is electrical boxes, but I'm going to guess it doesn't have electrical boxes in it. Nope, it does not. Alright, so it looks like we got quite a bit going on here, but basically it looks like reloading and cleaning is primarily here. But it looks like we got a bullet belt. There. Here's a little pouch with some diagnosis tags. So there you go. You need some diagnosis tags. There's some in there. Looks like we got some 30 cal rounds. We'll have to separate the ammo out. Ammo's got to be in their own lots. Looks like some lead eyes. I'll have to see what size those are. There's a tin with tag on it that says loaded curios. We'll have to open that up in a minute. Here's another one that says empty cases and a few bullets collectors. So we'll open that up here in a second. Some brushes. some clean bore primers. Again, these will have to separate with the bullets. It looks like some presses. And a kinetic bullet puller. If you haven't used one of these, they're kind of fun. Bib seat reamer. And it looks like a bunch of random dies down here as well. Let's see what's in these tins. Alright, we'll start with empty cases and a few bullets and collectors. That is a big case. Stamped 1944 20 millimeter. I'll just have to go through that later and make sure there's no live rounds in there. Alright, next up is loaded curios. Okay. That is a loaded curio. That kind of looks like some of the 43 Spanish rounds that we got in for a different auction, but I'm not sure what that is. Some different live rounds. Guess I'm going to have to separate all this out. Looks like some 45s and a moon clip that broke. Some random like 22s. These are probably like 25 autos. And so there's a bunch of random rounds in here that really aren't marked too well. So if anybody knows what these are, let me know in the comments. Alright, so this at first seems a little unassuming, but I think we've got some airgun parts and diagrams in here. Let's see what's in here. Personal protection kit. Tear gas pistol. 10 tear gas cartridges. 10 blank cartridges. Instructions. Reusable plastic box. Look at this thing. Apparently this is a tear gas gun. Look at that. And here are the tear gas cartridges. So apparently it shoots like a 22 primer. And then in these ones here, might be a little hard to see, but you can see it's black on the inside of the primer. I guess that's the tear gas component. It's pretty heavy. It's made of metal, says made in Italy. Huh. First tear gas gun. Cool. Okay, in this bag, 10 Soda Master charges. So, they look like CO2 cartridges. They are brand new, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if Soda Master is Soda Master charges are different than CO2. It says CO2 under pressure. Maybe they were just called Soda Master charges before they called them CO2. There's a whole bag. There's some more here. Now these look a little different, but still the same. And then here is some copperhead pellets. This sounds like more CO2 cartridges. Yep. Okay, so this is clearly a project gun. Could have been in the middle of cleaning it and putting it back together, or fixing it. Not sure. Okay, so this seems pretty straightforward. This is a leather hard case, and this one is a Redhead brand. See if there's anything in it. And there's not. But that's a pretty cool leather gun case. Alright, so this appears to be air pump, a way to fill the air tanks for the air rifles. I checked this all over. I did not see any markings or manufacturer or brand name, so I don't feel like it's homemade, but I think it's a manufactured piece, but there's a chance it could be homemade. But as you see, when you move the lever back and forth, you can hear the air moving in and out. If I'm wrong on that and that's not an air pump, I guess let me know. But that's my best guess. Alright, so I'm coming over to the end of the table just so you didn't have to move it. But this is a casings press. The manufacturer is Pacific. It's definitely an older one. Alright, on the surface this looks like we're going to have some more optics in here at the very least, and I guess some other accessories. So let's get into it. That's a leather rifle strap. Alright, cigar boxes are kind of always fun to see what old timers kept in them. So, and wow, I don't know what this is. It is definitely like a lens. Here, there's an eyepiece. There. And actually there is a lens in here also. It's all brass on this one. Same here. Glass and lens in here. So if anybody knows what this is, I guess let me know. Got another cigar box here. And this one's full of all different kinds of stuff. Wow, this has glass in it, and I'm guessing these are like lens replacements. Here's another brass piece with a lens in it. Alright, so this is neat. This is like an old first aid kit. It looks like old watch parts. This thing is pretty cool. This is like a tiny little spotting scope. Look at this. And it's brass. It's painted black, but there's you can see the brass on the bottom here. So it would have been mounted to something. But that looks like a tiny little spotting scope. It might be hard to pick up on here, but there is a reticle in here. And it says Telescope M19 number 13060, MHR Co. 1942. So, man, if anybody knows what that is, let me know. Alright, and Dustin and I had kind of joked that this guy might have a cannon. And that's all I can think of when I see this, that this would have been part of maintaining a cannon. Alright, we've got a bayonet here. And I've looked at this already, and I have not found any markings on this. So, this is where I need the help from the internet. If anybody knows what gun this bayonet goes to, because if I have the gun, I would love to put it with it. Tube here with a lens in it. Got a Tasco optic. Volver speed loader. And it looks like a bunch of different optics in here. And optic mounts. I have no idea what this goes to. With different types of lenses. It's like eye doctor. One better or two better? Alright, this is a really cool little optic. It's like solid brass, and it's got a square body, which is kind of unusual for an optic. And the crosshairs in here, like the reticle, might be hard to pick up here, but they're like really thick. But I'd be really curious to know what this came off of. So if you know, let me know in the comments. Alright, so this box just seems like a lot of old optics and optic mounts and parts. Some other really cool items in there. Like I say, this little spotting scope was pretty cool. I'll have to look into see what this was mounted on. Alright, I think I'm going to stop there and save the rest for the next video. It was quite a bit that we went through. And you're going to have to let me know if this style video was okay, that I just randomly went through the boxes. If I need to pre-go through everything and then just kind of show you the cool stuff, let me know. Otherwise, I thought it was kind of neat just to go through this stuff together. And there's quite a bit of stuff in here I didn't recognize what it was. So you guys help me out in the comments. Hoping it kind of helps me save on the research. But we'll get into the other side of the table for the next video. That'll do it for it on this one. If you guys want to stay up to date on what we're doing with these items, go to the comments below, the description, sign up for the email newsletter, and we'll let you know what we're doing with it. And stay tuned for part 6. We'll see you on the next one.